Welcome back to the gun dungeon, guys. So I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so if my energy is low in this video, just know that's why. But couldn't let a pretty day like today slide by without at least shooting a little bit and maybe trying to make a video. But today we're looking at two same brand handguns that are so similar yet so different at the same time. And what I mean by similar is the capacity's real close. This is 15, this is 14 in most mags. You can get 15 flush fit mags. So capacity's real close to the same. The dimensions are really close to the same. So the P10C has a little bit longer slide than the PCR, but when you count the beaver tail in, they're really close overall length. The height, almost identical, as you can see there. I mean, the dimensions are very close, yet they are so different because they're two different ideologies. This is a hammer-fired, double-action, single-action gun in the PCR here. That's an alloy frame. And honestly, the weights are really similar. Alloy frames are typically fairly light. Polymer frames, everybody knows those are light. But honestly, the weight, it's edged out just a little bit heavier with the PCR. This one, of course, you're not going to have the option to add a rail. If you got the CZ-P01, though, you would. I don't know if that adds any weight or not. I haven't looked at the specs. So if you have, let me know in the comments down below if the P01 is actually heavier than the PCR. It would make sense that it would be. But, you know, two different ideologies. Striker fired. This is as simple as it gets. Mag release, slide stop, takedown lever. That's all you got on this gun as far as controls. This one, you know, you're going to have your magazine, slide stop. The takedown's going to be more like a 1911, a little bit more complex. Not overly complex, though. But you have a hammer and a decocker here. This one does not have a safety, so it is meant to be carried with the hammer forward, and your first shot being that long, let me show clear before I pull the trigger, that long double action trigger pull. Now, when you decock, you'll notice it doesn't go all the way forward. It goes to like a partial cock, and that's where you'd carry it at. Once you shoot, you see the hammer is actually farther forward. That's not where you'd want to carry it. That right there is going to give you a little bit better trigger, and that's where it decocks to. So that's where it needs to be when you're carrying it. So a lot of people like double action, single action for a couple reasons. One, you get that little safety element when you're reholstering. You can put your thumb on the hammer, and when you're reholstering, you can be sure that that trigger's not being snagged and pulling the trigger as you're reholstering, because if it was, you would feel your hammer start to come back and you could stop inserting the gun into the holster. So that's one good feature about a hammer-fired gun. Another one is you do have double strike capability. So if you have a bad primer, you can pull the trigger again and keep going till it goes off. Or if it's really bad, you know, simple tap rack bang drills. You're not going to have that with a striker fired. Now, I will say this, just because of the mechanics of the gun itself and how it works, you'll see this beaver tail, that's as high as my hand is going to go. So I do have a little bit higher bore axis with the PCR. Whereas with a striker fired, everything is more streamlined up top, much lower bore axis. And that was kind of what a big selling point of Glocks when they first hit the market as well, was you did get such a high purchase on the gun that recoil felt reduced because you didn't have as much muzzle flip. It was more controlled. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shoot these side by side for you in slow-mo and let you kind of see. This is not any super powerful round or anything. It's just standard target, 115 grain ammo. So not super crazy on recoil, but you may or may not be able to see a difference in the slow-mo. Let's just go ahead and do it and see what you think. So as you can see there, a little bit of advantage goes to the striker fired gun when it comes to Muzzle flip, I'm not going to sit and say that the recoil is terrible on either, because it's not. They're both 9mm. They're both very controllable, but just the bore axis alone will be a contributing factor to that muzzle rise. I've never used this angle before in front of the table here. I may start using it more. Who knows? I kind of like it. I can sit here and load up, shoot a little bit. I like this angle. Y'all be sure to go over and check out Vetter Holsters. They're a big sponsor of the channel, help me out quite a bit, so y'all get over there and help them out as well. Here's one of their outside the waistband models. Awesome design. They have about any design you can think of. They're also one of the few companies that I've seen making holsters like this with the claw attachment inside the waistband model that fits the Glock 29 and the 10mm versions of the XDMs. So if you have a gun, they probably make a holster for it. Check out Vetter Holsters. And while we're at it, I gotta mention Target Sports. They just became a sponsor of the channel. If you shoot very much throughout the year, their Ammo Plus membership is well worth it. It'll pay for itself in the year's time if you shoot very much at all. So be sure to go check out Target Sports. Their link is below. All right, 80 yards, 12-inch plate, shootsteel.com plate. Link in the description. Not feeling well today, so probably not going to shoot well. Just go ahead and make some pre-excuses. Yeah, hit it twice. All right, let's try the P10C. Hit it twice. But there you have it. These two together, neither one are going to be a bad choice. It really is that simple. You know, a little bit more modern here with your rail here. The stippling is going to be way more aggressive on the P10C as opposed to your PCR. So you can see just on the front there, that's all you got right here on the front, more linear serrations as opposed to any type of stippling. These are some custom, CZ custom shop grips, not very aggressive here either. And then you got the same style on the rear here. So as far as grip aggressiveness, you don't have a whole lot when it comes to the PCR. Now the P10C is known to have very, very aggressive stippling, and you can see it there. That angle with that lighting actually shows it really well. It looks like a cactus sticking out the back there, but that's how it is pretty well all the way around the gun. The rear is a little bit more aggressive than the side, so you can see it there a little flatter on the stippling or serrations, whatever you want to call it. I don't even care. But the front's a little bit more aggressive. The back's definitely the most aggressive. But it feels really good. It's not overly aggressive in my opinion. Both of them are well designed as far as the control placement. I'm not going to accidentally hit this slide stop or slide release, which I'm known to do a lot on a lot of guns. If that control is more towards the rear, I am prone, just with my grip, the way that I grip a gun, I do tend to ride that, and I'll either hold it down and it won't lock open on the last shot, or if it's heavy recoil, and sometimes I will get under it and lock to the rear when I don't want to, just depending on the gun. Same here. I can barely even reach the slide release with a normal grip here on this one, but I can reach the magazine release just fine holding the normal grip. Can get to it just fine with that one, and this one as well. This one's actually probably feels a little bit better as far as reaching the mag release, but I mean, they're both great. It all just boils down to what you want. If you want a more traditional style alloy frame carry gun, you're not going to go wrong with the PCR. If you're into the striker fired world, polymer handguns, the CZ P10C is an excellent addition to the market. It was great when it first came out, raging reviews, and the price point on them are excellent. This one's optic cut, whereas that's not going to be something you're going to have with this PCR. I don't even know if they make an optics ready version of the P01 or the PCR. They may. I don't know if they do or not, but I picked this up fairly cheap, way cheaper than the PCR. So maybe that's a factor as well. Aftermarket support's going to be coming along pretty good decent for the 75 series PCR, but it's coming along real well for the P10 series. You're seeing a lot of aftermarket support with this. And, you know, like I said in my video reviewing this thing, there are claims that the P10C fits a lot of Glock holsters. It does not fit my Safariland holster, so for a Glock 19, but it's supposed to fit a lot of the Glock 19 holsters. And both these guns are Glock 19 size, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, that's another thing. If you're a lefty, you're probably going to want to go with the P10C, because it does have it does have ambidextrous controls on it here for the slide release, and the magazine release is reversible, whereas over here there is nothing on the right side. Your decocker's on the left, your slide release is on the left. Magazine, I don't think you can swap it on these. You may be able to, but I don't think you can. But anyways, I just wanted to get out here and shoot a little bit. I was feeling bad. Shooting always makes me feel a little better. So I brought you guys along with me, and we shot a couple really cool guns, and that's about all this amounts to, because I'm not going to pick one of the two. They're two totally different guns that are very similar. Anyways, that's what I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Till next time, stay tuned.